Okay, in this video, we're going to talk about the congruence and transformations. So we're going to start with one of the review problems here. We have two quadrilaterals, and we can see this was our first one, and this is our second one. So this one would be after the transformation that occurred, and they're asking, which sequence of transformation confirms the congruence of shape 2 and shape 1? So what can be done so that those will match each other? So if I take shape 1, a reflection of shape 1 across the x-axis, so that means I'm going to reflect it here, so you can kind of picture it upside down on the other side, followed by a clockwise. Well, clockwise is then rotating it to the right, more in like that direction, kind of like how, well, same as like how the hands on a clock go, to the right. And so if I'm up here and I go to the right, that's not going to get me to shape 2. So that one does not work. We kind of have to go through all of these and just think about it. If I do these to shape 1, am I going to end up on shape 2? A reflection of shape 1 across the x-axis, so up here, you can think of it flipped upside down, and then counterclockwise, so that would be rotating to the left. So if it's flipped upside down and then it's going to rotate over here, yes, that one would work. It does say which sequences, so we have to go through all of them, make sure that they see which ones work. A reflection of a shape across the y-axis. So if I take this, flip it over here, and then go counterclockwise. So if it's over here, counter is back to the left, that's not going to get me to shape 2. This one, a reflection over the y-axis, so it's going to flip, and then clockwise would get me up here because I'd be going to the right. And then the last one, a reflection on the x-axis, so reflect it over the x-axis, 180 degrees. So 180 is like half a circle. So if I had a shape in this quadrant and I end up going 180 degrees, half a circle, it's going to put me all the way over in this quadrant. So that is also not going to land on shape 2. So it was just these two that confirm the congruence. So that means that the two shapes would for sure match up, sides, angles, everything stays the same. Let's take a look at another one. Which transformation of the red triangle on the graph maps it onto the missing piece of the square? So what can I do to get this piece over into this piece here to fit the puzzle? Well, it's not just a slide. That doesn't work. Translation is a slide. Reflection, if it reflects over, it's still not, I need this part to be facing up here. So a reflection is also not going to work. It's going to be some type of a rotation. This somehow needs to be rotated. And since I want to go into this quadrant, that's going to be 90 degrees. And I'm going to the right, so I want to go clockwise. So that looks like D is the only one. 180 degrees is going to put me over here, half the circle. So D is the only one that worked on that one. Let's take a look at this one. Which sequence of transformations confirms congruence by mapping shape 1 onto shape 2? Again, you just kind of got to go through these and think about and see what works. And we're going to have to test them all. So a reflection across the x-axis. So if I flipped it and it would end up up here. That would be our reflection across the x-axis. And then a slide 15 units to the left. And notice your scale here is 5, so that'd be going 5, 10, 15. So that's going to move the shape into this location here. That's not going to work. It's not going to land right on that figure 2 that we want. So that one did not work. All right, the next one, a 90-degree clockwise rotation, and then 25 units up. Well, again, with these rotations and where your points end up, I really like to use those rules. And so let's just think about what these points are. I have a point here at 15, -5. 15, -10, and 10, -10. These are all our ordered pairs here. That's 15. And 10, -5. So if I'm going to do a 90-degree clockwise, that rule is our ordered pair, the x and y values flip, and the value of x becomes the opposite. All right, so that means that this 15, -5 is going to become -5, 15, and that x value would become the opposite. So that's -5, 15, be down here. 15, -10. That's going to become -10, 15. Again, the x becomes the opposite. So that's down here. So that kind of gives you an idea of where this square is going to end up once it is rotated 90-degree clockwise. Let's try this one, 10, -5. So x and y are going to switch. 5, 10, x becomes the opposite. Okay, and so I can kind of tell here my shape is becoming that square. So it would end up here. Then a translation of 15 units, I'm sorry, 25 units up. Again, we're going by 5. So 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. That means it's going to shift up to that location, 25 up. Again, it does not land right on that figure 2. We did all that work and it still didn't work. Sometimes that happens. All right, and then let's try, hopefully we have better luck with this next one. The next one says a 90-degree counterclockwise rotation about the origin. And then a translation, 10 units left. So for that rule, for the 90-degree counterclockwise, again, I'm just looking those up on Google. They're tough to memorize. You can maybe have a note sheet out while you're doing these. But that rule says our XY, our ordered pair, the X and Y will flip-flop, the Y value will become opposite now. So like this first point, 15, -5, X and Y will switch. However, this Y becomes the opposite, so it actually comes +5. +5, 15 would end up here. 15, -10. So which one did I do here? So those are going to flip-flop, and the Y becomes positive. So it would actually turn to 10, 15. It'll end up here. 10, -10. They're going to flip-flop the X and Y. So it would be -10, 10, the y value changes to the opposite. So actually positive 10, 10. And again, you can kind of then start to see it's going to make a nice square right here. So that's where it ends up after our 90-degree counterclockwise rotation. Now let's see, if I move, slide 10 units left, am I going to end up on that shape? Well, let's see, we got 5, 10. It looks like that would put us right on shape 2. So yay, we have one that works. C worked for us. All right, moving on to the next one, we have to pick which one is correct, which sequence of transformation performed on this shape confirms the congruence of shape 2 and shape 1. All right, again, we have to go through all of them, see you know, which one will work. If I start here, so we're going from shape 1 to shape 2, think about if I flip this, a reflection across the y-axis. So this is right now 4 over, so it would be 4 this way. You can kind of draw your reflection. This point is 8 over, so it would be this way. And then this point is 10 over, so it's going to be 10 on the opposite side. So it's going to form that shape. That would be your reflection over the y-axis, and then down 16 units. So if I move down, and again, you're going by 2s, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. Oh, obviously, I'm going to move down here. It's not going to line up to shape 2. So that one does not work. All right, and just because we have to test them all out, let's jump and try this one. I'm going to start from the bottom this time. Maybe we'll get lucky and this one will work. 180-degree rotation about the origin, and then a translation left 8. Again, using that rule for the 180-degree rotation, we have our XY, and what happens is both your X and Y's change to become the opposite. Okay, I do need to get the points here. So from the vertex, basically each corner, that's called a vertex. I need the location of those points. So that is 4, 4. That's 4, 6. 8, 10. And 10, 6. And so each of those is just going to change to the opposite X, Y value. So I would have -8, -10, -4, -6, -4, -4, and both negative, -10, -6. And if I plot that, let's see, so -4 is one of the points, -8, -10, -4, -6, and -10, -6. So again, there is our shape. So that would be after the 180-degree rotation. You can kind of see as it rotated there's that half circle, 180 degrees. Translation, so now let's see if we slide it 8 to the left, am I gonna end up right on shape 2? 2, 4, 6, and 8. So I'm kind of looking at from this point to this, moving it 8 left. So yes, that's gonna land right on that same shape And because they match up perfectly, the angles, the sides, everything is the same, that means it confirms the congruence. Congruent shapes are exactly the same sides, same angles. All right, we're gonna jump to this one here. So let's take a look. This one says, shape A is congruent to which shape? As shown by a reflection across the y-axis and then a translation down. So from here, which one looks like it's a reflection and then move down? So think if you reflected it, it would be pointing the other direction and then down. So that kind of looks like this triangle F here. How far is it shifted down? Well, I can look at from the top here. So here I am up at the top and I got to go to here. So 2, 4, 6. Got to watch that scale. Sometimes that's tricky. So it's going down 6 units. The next one, shape B is congruent to which shape? So this one, by a reflection across the y-axis. So if I were to flip it over here, kind of like the mirror image, it looks like this one's a mirror image. And then down, so that B and D look like the reflections and then it's shifted down. So D, how many though? So again, we're at the top here. How many down did I have to go? And again, we're going by 2, so 2, 4. All right, oh, this looks fun. Identify which shape on the graph are congruent by shape 1. Here's our shape 1 we're starting with. By performing the sequence of transformations. So a 90-degree clockwise rotation. So from here, if I do 90 degrees, clockwise, that's going to end up, you can kind of picture a 90 degrees is going to end up down here, but then it is reflected. So yeah, it's going to kind of come this way and then reflect back up across the x-axis. So I'm actually, once it's rotated down here and then flip back up. So that's going to give us this point here. All right, let's take a look at the next one. A 90-degree counterclockwise about the origin. So back to here, counterclockwise, 90 degree. So that's gonna kind of put me at this shape here. But then it's a reflection across the x-axis this time. So if I rotate it here and then reflect it, that's gonna put me at this one now. So that matches up with the second one. All right, and then our last one says 180 around the origin. So 180 is going to put me kind of over here. Remember, we talked about how that's like a half a circle, but then a translation to the right. So if you can kind of picture this coming around into this quadrant, and then, let's see. So it's going to come around into this quadrant, and then shift 4 units right. That's going to put us right here on this shape here. All right, let's see. Got a couple more to go over. And these are just matching which different types of transformations are equivalent or the same. Because sometimes, like if you rotate it a couple times, you can do a different transformation and it will still end up in the same location. So for instance, a 90-degree counterclockwise rotation about the origin, and then a 180-degree rotation about the origin is the same as a clockwise. So that one would be the same as a clockwise rotation, 90-degree about the origin. A reflection across the X and then a reflection across the Y. That one actually turns out to be the same as a 180-degree rotation. And then the last one, a 90-degree clockwise rotation about the origin, and then a rotation 180 about the origin. That one is the same as a counterclockwise 90-degree rotation. So those are your matches. And then our last one, this one has, they give you all these different types of transformations and you have to drag them. Either they map to the shape, which means they match up, or it does not match up. I'm going to do this one as an example for you guys. And then you can kind of figure out the rest on yourself. So this one says a reflection across the y-axis, and then followed by a 90-degree counterclockwise rotation about the origin, then a translation 2 units right. So lots going on, a lot of directions to follow. We're going to start with shape 1 and do a reflection across the y-axis. So I'm taking this shape, reflecting it. Again, the corners, those vertices are very important. They help you. So I can look and see this one is, if I'm using my scale, 4 over. So it's going to be 4 over to the left there. That one's going to stay right on the y-axis. Reflect that point, and then this one is over 8, so it would be 8 in the other direction. All right, now that is our shape after the reflection. So I'm going to look at these points because then next we have a 90-degree counterclockwise rotation. So these points, if I label them, are -8, 10, -4, 12. That one there is 0, 10. And then that is -2, 8. All right, again, looking up that rule, 90-degree counterclockwise, our rule says that our ordered pair, x, y, the x and y change, flip-flop, the y value becomes the opposite. So that can kind of help me to see where that new shape is going to end up. So if I take that top one, the x and y are going to flip-flop. 12, -4, that 12 is going to change to the opposite. 8, -8 and 10, that's going to flip-flop. And that 10 will become the opposite. 0, 10 are going to flip-flop. And 10 will become the opposite. And then 8 and -2, and that will become the opposite. So now this is going to be, I did the reflection, now I'm going to rotate it counterclockwise, and this is where it would locate after that. So let's just draw that out and see. -12, -4. -10, -8, -10, 0, -8, 2. So it's almost on our, matches up on that shape 2. However, it does say then a translation right 2 units. So a slide, and again, our scale's going by 2. So if I just shift that over the 2 units, then yeah, that's going to match up exactly. And those would be congruent. So I would place that one into the yes, it does map shape 1 onto shape 2. So this could take some time if we went through all of those. Again, I just was going to do that one example for you, and you can try the rest on your own. Again, look up those rules for your 90-degree clockwise and counterclockwise. That'll really help you on showing where your points end up after those rotations. All right, see you next video, guys.